Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This is my third episode, and I'm very honored to have one of my personal mentors on the show with me, Simeon Papailias, a.k.a. Simos, a.k.a. The Hammer. Simeon, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm well, my man. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I couldn't be happier for you in starting to establish your brand, and of course, letting everybody know the beauty that is in Anthony's mind.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. I couldn't have done it with the help and the support of the giants around me. So the theme of my show, man, is I like to meet with people who have showed excellence and expertise in whatever field that they're in. You have mastered the commercial and investment niche in the real estate market. I'd love to hear your story. What got you into real estate? I mean, I know you were originally from Alberta. You're of Greek descent. You moved to the GTA, and you were in one of those corporate jobs, the traps. What got you into the real estate industry?
I moved to Canada in 1995 in grade 10. I'm 41 years old, and I moved to Toronto, and that was to Red Deer, Alberta, where my family owned restaurants, and those restaurants were housed in our commercial real estate. So my parents believed in ownership of assets. They strived their entire life to create the few assets they did end up putting together. Of course, those ideals and those kind of fundamental knowledge pieces resonated with me my whole life, and I knew what I needed to do. When I came to Toronto, I came to study financial and accounting management. Specifically for the hospitality sector, because my parents were, as you said, were of Greek descent. Most Greeks that leave the country find comfort and ease in the hospitality sector because Canada or North America at large suffers from good food. So they rely on other cultures to bring better food than a hamburger or simple American cuisine. So Italian obviously is popular, Greek is very popular, Chinese, etc. So it was very easy for them to settle into the commercial real estate and commercial entrepreneurial side of things. Came to Toronto in 2000, studied at Ryerson. At the same time, I got a job with CIBC, which led me to a company that did receivables, kind of like collection. It is collections. I'm not going to say kind of like collections. So you're calling and restructuring debt. Mm-hmm. So center, fast pace. For me, it was really easy because it's all about the way you communicate with people. And for me, communicating has always been easy. So the art of the gab, I suppose. I've always had it. I never struggled to make friends or to be able to carry my own from a conversation standpoint. So that's kind of a gift that I had that I've been able to use my entire life. So I succeeded very quickly in that business. And by 24, I had a call center of 120 people that I was running. With that being said, when you're 24 and making $120 a year, you think that that's really good, but really what's left when you're working for someone and not in control of your taxes and control of your expenses and everything else, you're left with 70 grand. In 70 grand, if you divide that by 12, it's not a lot of money if you actually have aspirations of investment properties and home ownership and family, etc. So just kind of,
it's the trap.
It's a trap. In 2004, I stopped. I actually moved back to Alberta. I did a quick restaurant. I flipped it. I made a truckload of cash. As far as I'm concerned, I went from broke to sitting on about $300K cash. So I came back 27, back to Ontario. I met my wife, changed careers. So I went back to the banking world just to have a paycheck. But I immediately started planning my attack on real estate. So within a year of coming back, I was able to detach from corporate and attach myself to my partner at the time. Actually, no, it wasn't my partner at the time. I met a very gifted guy, a very talented guy named Simon Giannini, who you know extremely well. And the late Simon Giannini, who passed away in 2017, I met him, actually, it might have been your birthday we're celebrating. I don't even know it was somebody's birthday. I met him at Spice Route. So in the early 2000s, that was a hot spot. I see him. We smash a bottle of vodka together, and we started working together. Within 6 months, we're literally partners. He had an ambition to grow a team. I had a lot of call center knowledge and kind of processes and work plans. That's kind of my niche and strength is systems and creating systems and implementing them, and more importantly, executing them. So to have a plan and to have a dream and to jibber jabber is one thing, but to actually do the work is a whole different other. And we found out very quickly, and that's also when I met Jazzy. That's also when I met you. It was kind of the entrance into the business, and I found out very quickly that most people are just not willing to work. And because I am willing to work and I truly enjoy working, like I like it, it brings me happiness to produce and see results. I really took advantage of it, meaning that I just outworked everyone, and every day we're just running over bodies left and right. So all we did is work. I remember standing beside Simon, standing beside Jazzy, standing beside the whole team, and I just outworked people, and that's all I did. So
I was witness to that.
So it's just if you just keep your foot on the gas, it's really, really, really hard to lose.
So let me ask you a question. Why did you choose a team environment? Most new agents, they come in, they want to tackle everything on their own. What steered you in the direction, other than Simon's gift to the gab? What steered you in the direction of joining a team?
Well, because all I've ever known is collaboration and teamwork. So my parents, the restaurants, etc. Like I've always been in a leadership position, meaning that I had to guide, whether it was the back end of the restaurant or the front end of the restaurant or both. When I owned restaurants, I've always had a team. All I've ever known is what a team can produce. I always knew I had to execute and be the example, because you can't lead with a whip. You can only lead by example.
It's amazing.
So unless you're willing to do the work, so if I wanted my dishwasher to work harder, I would go to the sink and pick up the dishes, because he can never watch his direct report wash the dishes when it's his job to do it. If my waitresses were sitting around talking, I would literally pick up a coffee urn and walk the floor and give my clients refills. Now what? Do you have something to say? Do I need to say something? The answer is no. So when you ask me why did I choose to be on a team, it's because I knew by getting on board a team, it would be only a matter of time before I'm a team leader.
Now let's talk about this team. There's a lot of teams out there. You actually manage an army of agents. How many do you have now?
47 agents.
47 agents. And how many years have we been? Have we been number one?
Well, this will be our third straight. From a transactional standpoint, that we're going to be the highest transacting team in the country.
In Canada. And I mean, brokerage wide, we've topped that since 2009, 10, and now we're number one in the country for 3 years in a row. There's a lot of agents out there who want to manage a team. What do you think it takes to run a successful team?
First and foremost, there's many different types of team models. What I can speak to and attest to is kind of what we've done, that you've been a part of. And that is, so if you're looking to grow a team, and we take into perspective what we have created in the last decade, or in the last 5 years, for example, or in the last 3 years, we've literally reverse engineered what somebody wants. The reason people are scared of teams is because they always have to put their name under someone. The REC team didn't used to be Simon Giannini team, or the Simeon Papailias team, or the Jazz Takar team. It's always been REC Canada, the REC team. And what we did is when we brought somebody in, we enabled, we promoted, and we created an environment where it would become the Anthony Tabar REC Canada team, the Simeon Papailias' REC Canada team. Zuri White, REC Canada team. Vanessa Lee, REC Canada team. So we created the infrastructure that one needs to succeed in a brand that anybody can make their own. So instead of you having to reinvent yourself, you can easily put on the uniform and be part of something big where you can use everyone's result around you and leverage that into your story.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's definitely resourceful having 47 agents. I'm a big believer in the fact that you cannot be a master of all. I know you specialize in commercial or investment real estate. You would never sell somebody's family home, not because you can't, because you're so focused on the stuff that you're interested in.
Well, no, I would be doing them a disservice. So it's not you're not doing somebody a favor, or if you're so focused on the commission, then you're in the you're not mature enough yet.
They can smell it on you,
of course. But for me to go in to take on, let's say your parents tomorrow call me and say, Simeon, please list my home. I know you have 15 years experience. I want you to sell the home.
Yeah.
And I would tell them respectfully, it would be the dumbest thing you could have, because I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't have the current experience. Not that I don't know how to sell a home, but do I know what's happening in their street? Am I an active part of their micro market? Am I going to go do the open house? Am I going to go buy donuts and put them in the front door? No, I'm not. But guess who will? Anthony will. Because Anthony is a residential home expert. You specialize in Don Mills, Agent Court, whatever the case may be. You know the area well. You know exactly what time you need to be on what street you need to be to get maximum exposure. You have the time, the energy, and the passion to sell the home. And you're going to do a much better job than I would. Going back one step, when we say stay in your lane or find what your passion is and exploit it, we say for a reason. I actually don't like residential home sales. Let's add another layer. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about how you want to build your hobby room, your nursery. I don't give a shit. I don't want to hear it. Unless it's like, for me, I love business strategy, which is enter commercial real estate. There's multiple or hundreds of ways that you can skin, turn, twist to make better money, more money, make the building more efficient. Like, it's just, I have different interests.
Yeah.
Other people find my shit boring. Who wants to look at a spreadsheet? I do.
Because you're such an expert in the commercial investment field niche, what would you tell somebody if they're thinking about getting into that? What would you say the differences are, the main differences are between residential investing and commercial investing?
The differences aren't that significant. When we talk about residential investing, you're speaking of buying like a single family home and renting it out.
Yeah.
So I think the major difference would be the liquidity of the asset, meaning that real estate already is not a liquid asset, meaning you can't log on to TD and sell your stock today.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process. So the advantage of real estate and disadvantage of real estate is its inability to liquidate instantly. Because if we could, every time the newspapers print a stupid ad saying that the real estate market is going to collapse next month, you would have half the population selling, and then half the other population buying it at a discount, and it would be a disaster. So the blessing and the curse of real estate is illiquidity. The major difference between residential and commercial is that the value of each one is tied to something else. So residential value, so like right now we've seen an upward trajectory in prices for the last decade. The average home is now worth $1 million. By next year, it's going to be 1.15. Why? Because of scarcity of inventory, very cheap money, and lots of buyer demand. So supply and demand is a major component of residential real estate value in appraisal. In commercial, 90% of the inventory and its value is based on the income approach and the cap rate. So those two are tied together. So to give you I'll try to keep this as simple as possible. if you own a building in Toronto that produces $100,000 a year in net income, and I own a building in Red Deer, Alberta, that produces $100K in income, if what I said completely was true, which is based on income, you would say that both are worth the same amount, correct?
Correct.
So the difference in commercial real estate is the cap rate in any given market, which is determined by other forces, such as employment, growth, stability, traffic, and liquidity. How do those play in? So if my asset is in Alberta, and the type of property, because we didn't say what kind of property it was, we just said a property that produced 100K.
Sure.
And this is where you can make it as complex or as simple as you want. So if I have a property in Alberta, which is rented to Schlumberger, which is one of the biggest, Rutherford, one of the biggest energy companies on the planet. And this is a facility that has been custom built for Rutherford. It extracts oil from peanuts. I don't know, whatever. That's called a single-use property.
Okay.
If Rutherford goes belly up, or they prefer Saudi operations versus Alberta operations because our government did something with carbon tax, what can I do as an owner of that land to repurpose it? Zero. I'm going to have a vacant property or a property worth next to nothing if something were to happen to my tenant. So that would only be that in order for me to buy that property, although the income is the same, I wouldn't pay more than a 10 cap, meaning that a property that is producing 100,000, a 10 cap is worth $1 million. That same property in Toronto, which is a little plaza, any plaza anywhere in Toronto, producing 100,000 net income. It is so sought after because it is so liquid and so easy to rent and so stable. So the convenience store, the dry cleaner, the pizza joint, the hairdresser, and the video store, what have you, those can be replaced overnight. Toronto has enough traffic to feed those businesses forever. So the asset now has a different value. So in Toronto, that asset is typically valued at a 3.5 to 4 cap, not a 10 cap. So the same income can be worth much more. So at a 4 cap, for example, it's worth $2.5 million. So the plaza, so my building in Alberta is worth $1 million. Your plaza in Toronto, same income, is worth 2.5. That means that somebody's willing to write you a check for $2.5 million today to take that 100,000 a year.
Yeah.
They're willing to take less return on it, but they know it's stable, it's going to be there forever, and will keep appreciating as the rents go up.
If you listen, for those people who made it through that was some boring shit, man.
All right.
But you say it with such conviction, and you clearly know what you're talking about, and that's why any commercial client that comes my way, that's friend or family or foe, I'm going to introduce them to you. Because
don't introduce me to your foes.
No, that's the kill them with kindness. That's what I say. I kill them with kindness. But no, man, honestly, I'm telling you, you seriously, like, we were on a call the other night with some clients of mine, and just your knowledge on joint ventures, on RRSP investing, on the like, just so many different things than the traditional family resale home, where so many agents are getting their license and thinking that it's so easy. And clearly, like, this is years and years of experience talking.
For sure. But again, like, we've all been very fortunate to have some very serious talent around us that has mentored us. We mentioned Simon, may he rest in peace. At the end of the day, like, I learned a million things from that guy. And the opportunities that he's exposed us to and that we continue to crush today and learn and grow from every day this is where gratitude comes in. You're surrounded by greatness, you're going to be great.
And don't get me wrong. When I say boring, I mean, it's clearly, you know, your shit, man. Like, you know, it's for somebody who sells pre-construction properties. I mean, I'm fascinated with how much you know, and I would be doing my clients a disservice by not introducing them to you and trying to figure all of that out.
No, but
on Google.
And even to you, Anthony, I'll tell you right now, like your where your growth and trajectory in knowledge depth needs to come from is understanding how to further monetize the time value of money. So if you're going to focus, for example, like Anthony Tabar is trying to become a strong pre-construction agent. Yes?
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you were to have a conversation with your client, and then I had a conversation with your client immediately after or immediately before, there would be an evident knowledge gap. And I will tell you where that would come. That would come because I know that you don't like economics. You're not a fan of economics. They don't turn you on. So, and this isn't a message to you specifically, Anthony. This is a message to your audience.
Right.
So you have a guy like me who is going to exploit that. Meaning that I'm going to go to your client and I'm going to tell them about their internal rate of return versus their total return. I'm going to tell them that if you were to spread your deposits this way, that way, or the other, if you were to actually borrow your down payment from a line of credit and do this, that, and the other, it's exponentially higher versus somebody who says, you have spread out deposits. Wow, great. Does your client understand what that means? Does your client understand that the 4% that they're going to pay on their home equity line of credit or 2%, whatever the rates are now, is actually going to yield them 80%? 80%.
Crazy.
So if, I don't care how conservative you are, when you tell somebody to borrow at 2 and they're going to get 80% back, there's no effing way that they can not have the conversation at least.
Yeah.
You tell me no. Tell me I'm an idiot. But at that point, you're going to hear me out.
You're going to, for sure. Absolutely.
So it's value proposition. It's value prop. And if you're looking to chop grass, if you're looking to onboard new clients, unless you're willing to educate yourself, invest in yourself, and find ways to set yourself apart, so it's not going to happen. So as you have now invested, because I've seen you, as you've now invested in systems, as you've now are building out your team inside your team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're building that infrastructure. Now you're going to start seeing results. The next level is for you to now make yourself the expert. You cannot be outshined by me or by anyone for that matter. You need to be able to control the client from top to bottom.
I have two things to say about that. Real estate is a very vast industry. Just like you wouldn't ask a family law lawyer to write up a corporation document for you or to create a corporation or a PREC because you're getting a better deal. So should the real estate market. So it goes with the real estate market. What I love about the real estate center is that if I have a client that's looking for a multi-residential family property, we have solid guys on our team. Jacob Campanero. If I have somebody looking for a cottage in Muskoka, we have resources where we can help people find a great cottage in Muskoka. There's power in numbers.
I couldn't agree with you more, buddy. That's the philosophy of why we did what we did. It's actually the driving motivation of what gets us up every morning is to do it bigger, better, faster, and stronger. And that's going to be how we improve, and that's going to be the driving force on everything we do.
So we live in a metropolis that is seeing some significant growth. We're blessed to be in the GTA right now. In your opinion, if anybody's still listening, what makes the GTA such a great place to invest?
Anthony, the GTA is one of the most sought after places on earth right now. And it's the founding principles of people moving to Canada is employment, is health, and is stability and safety. That's what people seek. They seek a market where they can meet their basic needs of health, housing, and work. Home ownership in Canada is not only one of the easiest places or best places to buy, it's also attainable and achievable. If you are working, if you have good credit history, you can make home ownership a reality. You can live in a place where your life is not threatened by extreme weather, extreme actions of man, extreme politics, extreme anything. The only thing Canada is not is extreme. It is the most calm, easygoing one of the most easygoing places on earth. And to a lot of people that come from anything but that, it is very, very attractive. Ask anybody coming from like the Middle East, which has been a disaster for the last 20 years. Africa has been a complete nightmare for the last 50 years. And I'm talking politically. I'm talking about people not having to fear what they say and what they do. So to ask somebody that's leaving that and come into a country where it's stable, safe, employment is abundant, and opportunity is abundant. Toronto specifically is the king of diversity and the ultimate example of what a city should be, and that makes it very attractive.
So let me ask you this. What will it take for this to stop? Because there is so many other metropolitan cities that are well ahead of us in terms of market value. Hong Kong, Paris, London, New York, they all had their respective booms. When would the typical investor expect some sort of a slowdown in the GTA?
The only thing that could, in my opinion, again, now you're talking crystal balls.
Yeah. That's why I got you here, man.
So I would tell you there's really nothing that can stop the trajectory because it's not a freight train type of scenario where it got going and it's going. There is simply an extreme gap, a massive delta of a housing shortage. So you have too many people coming for all the right reasons. All of them want to settle here. And our housing policy, our government policy, is simply not in line with what's happening on the ground. So when the supply shortage is 30 to 40%, there is nothing anyone can do to reverse it. The only thing that could hurt it would be if inflation loses all control and, of course, interest rates skyrocket. But at that point, housing would be the least you would be worrying about. So it would take a catastrophic economic event to put the GTA on its knees. Right. And if that were to happen again, housing would be the last thing on your mind.
You're a wealth of knowledge, Simeon. Thank you so much for giving me the time that you gave me today and all the time that you give me with my clients and just giving them a lot more confidence. Just when you speak, you clearly know what you're talking about. If I can just wrap up some of the things that you said today, you're obviously in a position where you have a lot of people who respect your opinion and make huge financial decisions based on your advice. Getting you there was outworking your competition, leading by example, executing on your ideas. Did I hit that on the head?
Taking massive action in everything we do.
Massive action.
Massive action on everything we do. Not one thing over the other, everything. Massive action everywhere.
Second point that I got from you today is that you should find your expert in your niche, in whatever niche it is that you're looking at investing in. I'll tell you from experience, my career took off when I stopped trying to wear so many hats. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a lawyer. I can't give tax advice. There are experts out there, and we have a big book of people where we could refer you to that do this every day for a living. Consult these experts. Find your experts and use the resources that are there.
Yes.
Last but not least, the GTA is on an upward trajectory. Lack of supply, increasing population, consistently showing up on the world's #1 place to live. We are in for a treat here in the GTA if you're thinking about investing in real estate. And all of those points were supported by my good friend Simeon Papailias. My last question. Why do they call you the Hammer?
Well, it's definitely not for the size of my hammer, that's for sure.
Okay. Most of the kids have signed off by now, I'm sure, so it's okay.
Oh, sorry, I was referring to my 16-ounce construction hammer.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's good, but it could have easily been misunderstood.
Oh, I apologize for that.
No, but really, when did that nickname come around? Who gave it to you?
It was a term from the call center. It's a term for making calls, and it's because of my what used to be a fairly significantly aggressive sales techniques.
Okay.
Hammering down.
Hammering down. I got it.
Drop the hammer. So like we could talk niceties all day, but at the end of the day, the hammer is going to drop. So it's time. Let's go.
I love it. Clearly, man, it's worked out for you. You're exactly right. You have a gift of the gab. You have a really good way of charming people and becoming their friend. And honestly, thank you, Simos, for always being there for me.
I will tell you to that. So maybe if there's one thing I would like to leave you with, it's not a gift to charm people, to make them believe they like you. Is I truly, honestly, and truly do love people. Like I actually love people. I'm an optimist, and I believe in the power of people. So fundamentally, I love way more than I don't love or hate. So like, if I don't like someone, they're just not on my radar. But by nature, I like you. I like you. Literally, I like you. I want to talk to you. And I think that part, if you don't have to fake liking someone, it's very difficult to not succeed. Because you're always helping people and they give back to you, and the cycle goes on and on. So be kind, be nice, and you'll succeed.
Thank you so much, Simos.
Love you, buddy.
Signing off.